didn't have so many opportunities on podcasts to talk about the healing potency of the sound. So can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think a lot of us in our westernized modern culture, we identify sound in music as entertainment. And if you trace back into, ancient cultures and traditions and the mystics and what, has been talked about for millennia in many sacred texts is that sound is actually consciousness, and that all consciousness is vibration or sound. And that in essence, sound is medicine, or it's a power of the divine to make manifest into form. That's how it works, is through vibration, through frequency. And you can learn about that through cymatics, where they put on a metal plate different sand, and then they put frequencies through, and different patterns come through to illustrate that you can actually create structure through sound and vibration. And that's just like the tip of the iceberg, is that you I think what we do is because we're so busy in our everyday life, we tend to find sound healing experiences, like a sound bath is a very common
Yeah.
term these days. And that's it creates like this idea of relaxation. Let me just sit and escape the world and just be in this blissful experience, which is beneficial, obviously, because we are so stressed and so busy and so um, stimulated in our worlds. But that's just one fraction of it. You've got sound and breath. They all work hand in hand. They have an ability to um, upregulate your nervous system and downregulate your nervous system. So you can stimulate and you can relax through the power of sound. And why is this important? Because the nervous system itself is your gateway through to your perception of reality. So everything you're experiencing, everything you're coming up to, your relationships, your beliefs, your thoughts, your feelings, everything is coming through that filter of perception of your nervous system, picking up the information, right? And so if that nervous system is deregulated, dysregulated, and it's stressed out, it's overwhelmed, it's anxious, then that is the lens that we're going to be looking through when we perceive everything that we're experiencing in the relationships that we have. So ultimately, then we're going to perpetuate more stress, more anxiety, more overwhelm in all aspects of our lives. And this is a commonality. Even chattering mind is a commonality of a dysregulated nervous system. And then if we lean into the power of sound, then like if you the cool thing is that now we can actually map in real time how the brain and the nervous system works when we're hearing music or when we're creating music, right? And so the most of the brain is engaged while we're working with sound, from all the way from the most ancient part of the brain up to the prefrontal cortex, the most modern part of the brain. And so to me, that is a great indication then that we have the ability to work and recondition the nervous system through the power of sound. And so, working with that concept, then, if we create opportunities to create an upregulation or stimulation, which is a lot of what we do in the work, is we recondition the nervous system. You would probably have images of this, working with indigenous cultures and stuff, and different traditions. There's a lot of up tempo rhythms. There's drumming. There's dancing. There's this loud and rhythmical music, and that's all designed from ancient wisdom to allow for a stimulation in the nervous system to elicit altered states of consciousness or different vantage points from which we can view ourselves and our reality. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, I know
Okay.
a bit about ancient mantras and that
Yeah.
type of sound, but I'm seeing a lot of instruments behind you. Can you maybe tell us which kind of music do you use, for example, on retreats?
Yeah, we bring it all in. So it's the stimulation. So the gong is a very powerful instrument that, because of the frequencies and the overtones and everything that's going through the gongs, it allows for two things. It allows for the mind to quiet. It's very challenging to hold a train of thought when the gong is sounding. And so that's very beneficial then, because we start to relinquish our grasp that we have upon control, and our fears, and our, everything that we're holding in that nervous system starts to get knocked loose, so to speak. And that, so the gong is something that do that. Keyboards and guitars, that those are more rhythmical, melodic kind of things to allow for journeying. I've got crystal bowls over here that you can't see, but the crystal bowls create layers, and I do overtones and things with my voice to work with the energy, work with the subtle energies. So it's a whole sound journey is what we go through, and it's like I was saying, is how do we create a stimulation to allow for the nervous system to break free of its restrictions of where it's holding, and then also allow for an overtone and expansion of sound to relax and open into a greater expanse of consciousness, so we can start to perceive and view our challenges from a larger vantage point, and get into like those altered states or those mystical states. And then from those mystical states, like Guy was really articulating, was then how do you bring that into your life, and how, all that is all orchestrated through the retreat and through the use of sound, the use of breath, and the use of the voice, and so forth.
Yes, thank you. That sounds amazing. Yeah, great. Petra, let me talk with you about something in which you are an expert. You are known to connect therapy with science and spirituality. So, why do you think that is important, and how does it actually help people?
Well, first of all, we are in we are humans living in 3D world. Most of the people that come to our retreats, they come as pure humans in their analytical minds, afraid of the unknown, and that makes them want to have like something they can prove to them that they're at the right place, that what they're gonna do is working, etc. So the science behind everything we do gives them that first kind of, like a cushion that they can feel safe in. And apart from that, I believe that it's really beautiful that we can explore with scientific tools that we have, even though it's really hard to, put in human words and numbers and stuff, divine and everything that we do. But it is a great way for humans to start understanding and like nudging them more into the direction of remembering themselves as a soul and these divine beings. So the three of us, we don't need the science, because we live this work. We know
Mm.
how it works. We witness it on a daily basis. Well, we are very aware ourselves as divine beings and as these 3D human beings, because we've done a lot of work and we are living the work that we do and that we share with people. But for majority of people who come to this work, they need this. They need some kind of black and white proof why this works, that their brain seeks for ways how to put dots together and understand how the nervous system works. Why does this affect my body in this way? Like Matt was explaining now, just briefly about the sound and the nervous system. And then they can start to relax and to let it in and to surrender. And then we can guide them on those beautiful journeys.
Mm.
So in that way, I believe that science is important for people to, make those first steps towards remembering who they are.